Besties! Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is Monday. It is time for news for people that have a job. I am Jamie Delphine, and that means I'm broadcasting live from Los Angeles. How's everyone doing? It's Memorial Day. That means the country's had a long weekend to get even worse. How's everybody doing? I've been doom strolling, so you don't have to. Hi, Scott. I see you're in here first. Good to see you. Good to see you. Before we get into it, and we are going to get into it today, we must first appease the mighty node. If you haven't been here before, this is our usual thing that we do, because if we don't, the node will fail us. Hey, what's up, Not Real Jules? How are you? Yeah, go ahead and be lurking. What's up, Ice Scott? How are you? I'm gonna run through some. I'm gonna cover the shit show, and then I'm gonna hang out, and we could just chat. We could talk about this stuff, or we could talk about other stuff. But first, let's not get away from ourselves. Repeat after me, chat. Praise it to the node. Praise be the node. May our bit rates remain stable. May our frame drops be not existent. And our engagement matrix satisfy the cold, unfeeling data centers that dictate our digital reach into the internet. Amen. Praise be the node. I am hitting my gate. Hold on one second. Let me just turn on my gate. I need to tilt this just a little. There we go. I'm following tips that professional audio engineers have painstakingly made graphics that have made it into my social media feeds. Okay. Now, mash that like button, share the stream, and make sure everyone and your brother knows we are ready to get to work. So, besties, we have a full one today. It is news. It is a coverage of the Memorial Day, the real origin of Memorial Day. It's a reality check you're probably not going to get anywhere else. And we have something I've been building for weeks, trying to settle on for weeks. And, I'm kind of proud of it. I got an entire socialist voter guide for California primary. That's June 2nd, which is 7 days from now, which is crazy. So start digging for your thing, your ballot, your piece of paper. You can get a notebook, a napkin. Don't forget something to write with. And just watch the VOD after this. As always, sources for everything I'm about to cover are in the Discord. We've got a lot of ground to cover, so let's get into it. Quick question for chat before I'm going to really kind of prove how little they teach us about Black history. Who actually knows where Memorial Day comes from? Anybody in chat? Anybody live in my chat right now is welcome to answer this one. Does anyone know where Memorial Day actually comes from? And I don't mean the barbecue version or the mattress sale version. I mean the real one. I'm going to tell you, it's going to rewrite the holiday for probably a lot of you. In 1865, 10,000 freed Black Americans held a parade in Charleston, South Carolina. They built a cemetery with their own hands, and they put flowers on those graves. And that was the first Memorial Day. And you've probably never heard about this story. And there's a reason. Can you guess why? Anybody in chat want to take a guess? I'll give you a moment. Why do you think we haven't heard of that one? So, in Charleston, the Confederate Army had converted a horse racing track, and they converted it into an open air prison. And they were using it for captured Union soldiers. Hundreds of Union soldiers from the Civil War died in very brutal conditions. And they were buried there in a very mass grave at the racetrack on those grounds. When the war ended, and this is the important part, a group of formerly enslaved Black Americans in Charleston, people who had literally been freed weeks earlier, spent 2 weeks digging up that mass grave, giving those Union soldiers a proper burial. They built a new cemetery and they painted a fence. It was a white fence that they painted, and they inscribed it Martyrs of the Race Course. And then on May 1st, 1865, 10,000 people showed up, mostly freed Black people. Some white missionaries were there, but it was mostly like Black Union soldiers. 3,000 Black school children walked through the grounds. They were carrying bouquets of flowers, singing John Brown's Body, placing flowers on the graves. And this was all less than a month after the Confederacy's surrender. And this was the first Memorial Day. So historian David Blight found this documentation like in a file. It was like in the basement in Harvard in the late 1990s. And the file was labeled First Decoration Day, I think is what the file said. And the New York Tribune actually covered this, and it covered it at the time. And it's been completely, like almost completely erased ever since. Like, you don't hear anybody talk about this in mainstream media at all. And it, in true American whitewashed fashion, the version that stuck, Memorial Day, didn't start until 1868, several years later. And that was when a white Union general, it was a general from the Union, from the war, from the Confederate War, he was calling for flowers at ceremonies at Arlington. And so that version got a federal holiday. And the Charleston version got a footnote after a file was dug up over like 130 years later. So the official story makes Memorial Day about sacrifice, like abstract sacrifice. Soldiers died for America, right? Period. So that doesn't ask, though, for what version of America? For whose freedom? In what direction? And the Charleston story actually answers that question directly. These people didn't die just for the country, they died to end slavery. And that's the people that they freed. Weeks out of bondage. They built a cemetery for them with their own hands. And that's not abstract. That is gratitude in action. That's a politically inconvenient story that America doesn't tell. So now, in addition to Christo-fascism, we get mattress sales. So tell me in the comments, did you know about this? Were you familiar with this story? Let me know. And I think it's a really important story to tell. If you're not familiar with it, you're not alone. Almost nobody in America actually knows, and it's something that happened. It was our May 1st, and there's been sort of a almost intention at this point. You almost can't say it's not intentional to not have a May 1st holiday in America and to completely avoid International like Solidarity Day. That has to be intentional. Like, I'm sure there's some kind of like government law or something preventing that, because anything that could be commemorated on May 1st just isn't. We just completely avoid the holiday completely. Mm. Okay. And I'm bringing this up right now, this Memorial Day story. It's actually extremely relevant because on this specific Memorial Day, we have President Trump at Arlington Cemetery, and he's giving the 158th Memorial Day observance, laying a wreath, giving a speech about sacrifice and honor and service. Well, I say laying, he's tossing it. Because if he tries to bend down, there's a good chance he'll collapse, and then someone would have to put a wreath on his ass. And that's not very, like, alpha maxing or whatever. But I do need to be very precise about something. When I say this, I just need to say it very, very clearly. Last July 4th, this same administration signed the One Big Beautiful Bill Act into law. And they wrapped it up in patriotism and signed it on the 4th of July. And that bill is, to date, the largest cut in basic needs programs in American history. Over $1 trillion cut from Medicaid over the next decade. $186 billion cut from SNAP over the same period. And the Nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office projects 11 million people will lose health insurance by 2034. So that's 3 million people who are going to lose food assistance. That includes veterans. That's disabled Americans, working families who are currently alive and currently need care, many of whom work for Amazon or Walmart, similar organizations where they're owned by some of the richest people in the world. And a lot of their employees are on government assistance. So you do not get to lay a wreath for the troops and then cut their health care. That is not honor. That's just a photo opportunity with an American flag backdrop. So the people who died deserve more than a speech. And the people who are alive deserve more than a speech. They freed Black Americans who built the first Memorial Day by hand. And they weren't interested in symbols. They were interested in doing the work and being genuinely appreciative of the sacrifice. Well, so are we. So tell me in chat, let me know below, what do you think about the real meaning of Memorial Day? And you should drop it in the comments below. I want to hear it. What means Memorial Day for you? Oh, heavy stuff, heavy stuff, heavy stuff. Just a little bit more, and then we're past the big chunky meaty stuff. I can't believe I try to leave stuff that like the news is already covering. So the fact that I'm covering this one's kind of crazy. I want to talk about something that's being treated as background noise in the American news cycle, like for the past months. It's been months now, despite being in, and I do want to be precise when I say this, it is an active military conflict. The United States is at war with Iran. I know, it sounds dramatic, but it isn't. It's accurate. And the Strait of Hormuz is the waterway that roughly 21% of the world's oil passes through. And Iran deployed mines and closed it. If that's news to you, I don't know where you've been. But this weekend, Trump announced that deal is, and I'm quoting directly, largely negotiated. And the proposed framework is a 60-day ceasefire. So Iran clears the mines, the strait reopens, and then there are negotiations on Iran's nuclear program. Here's the problem. Iran has not confirmed this. Their semi official news agency reported wide disagreements. Iran's core demand is a permanent end to the war, and a 60-day ceasefire deal is not that. So we have a US president announcing a deal the other country has not agreed to in an active conflict that most Americans are treating like it's just kind of happening on a holiday weekend when nobody's watching. And the mainstream coverage has been framing this as a potential diplomatic win. That framing skips entirely over how did we get here? What was the congressional authorization? What is the end state? What happens on day 61? So we did not vote for a war with Iran, and largely negotiated is not a peace deal. It's a press release, like a jokey fake one at that. So what do you think, besties? Did you remember we're at war? Is that something people even think about? Let me know in the comments, because I remember. Pepperidge Farm remembers. Is the Iran war just to keep a shock collar on the economy? Maybe. Um, Basically, Trump gets to pump fake oil, and I mean, what are the odds that Trump is profiting from this whole thing? Is Trump profiting off of the Strait of Hormuz? I'm just gonna Google. I'm gonna Google it. Um, no. Da, 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 da. I mean, he's joking about like proposing a toll with Iran, and just saying that this is a really very profitable business, saying that he could like seize Iranian ships and cargo. Um, I don't think so here we go. Here's a BBC article. I've got you. I've got you right here. Check this out. This'll be some fire. Oh, that's my air filter. That's not very informative. Here. So this is the companies making billions from the Iran war. This is a BBC article. So of course it's going to be the oil and gas folks. It looks like BP's actually profiting from this. So BP profits rose. They actually look at that jump. They actually profited. If you look here, where the line after the line, big banks, JP Morgan's trading arm made a bunch of profit. I don't understand why. Heavy trading volumes, demand for trading. Everyone's trading. I guess it's because people trade when there's war. So everyone puts money into banks so they could trade because they have to put the money in the bank to trade. Defense, obviously, all the defense stocks rose. People that make jets, war machines, renewables. Okay, this is supercharged interests in the renewable sector. That makes sense because like we're seeing that like oil is not doing great because we're so dependent. This might cause a big boon of investments into renewables to get us less dependent on oil. That makes logical sense to me. Um, I guess this is the UK though. This is like the UK, but it says even in the US, that led to renewable investments being seen increasingly. So that's interesting. I mean, anecdotally, I don't know how much you could take that. I mean, it's one BBC article, but yeah, yeah. What happens on day 61, chat? I really wish someone could tell us. Um, One more thing from this weekend, and then we'll get into the voter guide. On Saturday, let me see. Hold on before we move forward. I'm more scared of Chinese kung fu robots more than an Iranian attack. Yeah, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we should be scared of an Iranian attack, but like, holy shit, how expensive is gas right now? Like where, and that's going to affect everything. When oil costs go up, like our country still overwhelmingly relies on oil for energy, for shipping. So like when oil goes up, like the cost of a truck driving across the country goes up, which means everything in that truck now gets more expensive. This is not a good thing. Like if you play any kind of games that deal with like supply and resource gathering and resource allocation, you know, one small change in a resource, the chain, the whole chain supply line can get messed up. It's not good when all of a sudden your resource is now twice as hard to acquire, three times as hard to acquire. That's just bad. Mm, mm. You need more minerals. You need more Vespine gas. So over this weekend, on Saturday, a 21-year-old man opened fire at a Secret Service checkpoint near the White House. He was killed by officers. A bystander was wounded, and Trump was inside and was not harmed. And this is the second major security incident near the White House in about a month. And I'm not doing a full segment on this because the facts are still developing. Like, we literally don't have much information about this. But I want to name it because it's part of the temperature check of the country right now. And the temperature is real. Why does it seem like the president attracts more assassins than there are in Assassin's Creed? It's getting to that point, y'all. What's up, crazy dad? How are you? How are you, my guy? Good to see you. Always good to see you. Princess, wait for you. Okay. All right, besties. Time for the block that I've been building towards. This is your socialist voter guide. The June 2nd election is just 7 days away. So make sure if you have your mail-in ballot or if you want to go ahead and get that and start filling it in, you can do that with me right now. Now's the time to do it. Run and grab your thing, get a pen, maybe a scrap of paper. Like I said earlier, you could get a napkin. American politics, but on helium, so we feel better. You know what? You should watch the VOD in times two, and just listen to me do it like a chipmunk. That's the best way to get your politics. Get it fucking over with, because it's just there's a lot. It's too much, and the fact we have to sit through it, it's a lot. So this is the block I've been building towards, and I want to say something directly before I get into these candidates. Almost none of what you see in mainstream political coverage between now and June 2nd will mention the people I am about to recommend. And the polling aggregators do not include them. The high dollar debates did not invite them. The political press has decided in advance that their politics are too real to cover. And that's not an accident, besties. It's a choice about which politics gets treated as legitimate. And it's a choice made by the billionaires, made by the elite. And we are here to make different choices, better choices. That is the whole point of this stream. That's why I started doing news for people that have a job. And I'm going to be transparent about where I'm coming from. I believe in building independent, working class power. I believe the two-party system keeps working people from having real representation. And I believe the path out of this situation runs through organized, principled socialist politics. And now, with that on the table, here's your voter guide. For 2026, I recommend for governor Ramsey Robinson of the Peace and Freedom Party, known as PSL. That's a dual recommendation. Peace and Freedom Party, PSL, Party for Socialism and Liberation. That's a slash, sorry. They're two separate ones. I get them confused all the time. So for governor, I recommend Ramsey Robinson. He's a mental health and social worker. He's a socialist organizer from San Francisco, and he actually has a master's of social work from Cal State LA. He spent years organizing for justice for victims of police brutality. He's the only candidate of governor for California who is a working class organizer. And on his platform, on day one, he is declaring a housing emergency. He's going to freeze rents, evictions, and foreclosures statewide. He has a free universal single payer health care for all Californians on his policy, on his platform. And that includes no premiums, no deductibles, and no fees. And he wants to tax the 194 billionaires in California to fund all of this. So it's not like who's going to pay for it? They're going to pay for it. It's not a fantasy platform. It's a platform for the conditions that people are actually living in. Now, I know what some people are thinking. The California top two primary means only the top two vote getters advance. And there are two Republicans, Steve Hilton and Chad Bianco, polling well enough that the state Democratic Party has been publicly panicking about the possibility of two Republicans advancing if the Democratic vote is split. And I'm not going to tell you that that concern is not real. It is real. The structure creates that tension. What I will tell you is this: Ramsey Robinson is not splitting the Democratic vote because he's not a Democrat. He's the only socialist on the ballot for governor, and a visible socialist candidacy that earns tens of thousands of votes sends a message the mainstream is not sending. Your vote for Ramsey Robinson is a data point that says there are people in California who want something further left than a billionaire spending $132 million on TV ads to tell you he's a progressive. And that data matters. And that signal matters. So I am recommending Ramsey Robinson for governor. And that's ramseyforgov.com. RAMSEY number 4.com. That's easy. Just look up Ramsey governor. And if you want to get more involved than just voting, the Party for Socialism and Liberation is the organization behind Ramsey's campaign, behind all the candidates that I'm recommending, basically. And they are doing the work between election cycles. And if you want to build instead of just vote, pslweb.org. You can join. That's how this thing grows. So let me know what you think. Does that match your vote? Who are you voting for? What would you recommend is the path forward, since we keep getting stuck in this lesser than of two evils choice? Moving forward. Next one I'm really excited to cover. This is pretty much a no-brainer. So Lalo Vargas is a former firefighter turned public school teacher, and he's a member of the United Teachers Los Angeles. He's running on the Peace and Freedom line as a PSL organizer. So he's a teacher, a union teacher, firefighter. Like, come on. This is why this race matters. California is watching insurance companies abandon the state entirely because of climate risk. And homeowners are in fire prone areas that can't even get or afford coverage. Believe me, I can tell you there are lots of insurance struggles right now, like statewide. And the person who regulates the insurance industry has enormous power over what happens next. Because we have already seen a taste of what is to come. And Lalo Vargas is not funded by insurance industry money. He's the only candidate in the race who's not. So I am recommending Lalo Vargas for insurance commissioner. And you can find out more at lalovargas4ca.com. Let me know what you think. If you disagree, I'd love to know why. That one seems pretty straightforward. The next one I want to recommend is State Superintendent of Public Instruction. And for that, I'm going to recommend Frank Lara. And if you're not familiar, Frank is a bilingual middle school teacher and vice president of the United Educators of San Francisco. He's an immigrant rights organizer. He's the only candidate in the race who is currently in the classroom. So this is a nonpartisan top two race, which means Frank Lara actually has a real path to advancing in the general, and that is not nothing. So in a moment where the Federal Department of Education is being dismantled, where schools are being stripped of funding, bilingual education and immigrant students are literally under attack. They're arresting students, and I've seen some terrible things on social media that it's hard to even go to school right now if you're in any kind of like ICE enforcement zone, which they seem to target specific areas. But I digress. Having a working teacher who has organized for immigrant rights in this position is not just an idea. It's pretty urgent. So I am recommending Frank Lara for State Superintendent of Public Instruction. And you can find more about Frank at frank4caschools.com. This one especially, please go to the website, bookmark it. If you're going to vote for one person, this one could quite honestly impact things greatly. So, moving on, I'd love to hear what you think. If you have a different option, or if you see things differently, if you think someone else deserves these seats, let me know. I'm open to discuss these things. I'm live and happy to debate. Mm. So this next one was hard. This next one was hard. This is the one I struggled with the most. And I want to be really clear. I'm going to explain why I'm making this recommendation. I'm going to be very thoroughly transparent. The LA mayor's race is also on the June 2nd ballot. And this is one that I do want to spend a minute on because currently polling is Karen Bass, anywhere from 22 to 30%. Spencer Pratt, yeah, that Spencer Pratt is at 18 to 22%. And Nithya Raman is at 16 to 19%. So let me tell you why. I'm about to make this recommendation. Ray Chen Huang is currently polling at 3%. And she is my recommendation for the mayor of Los Angeles. Ray Chin Huang is an ordained minister and is the deputy director of Housing Now California. She has 2 decades of movement organizing. She helped pass SB 567, and that expanded tenant protection statewide. She pushed the Democratic Party to actually do tenant protections. So she also pushed the Department of Housing to study social housing. She's worked with People's Budget LA. She's worked with Black Lives Matter directly. She is a coalition builder. And she's not a candidate who builds a platform then moves away from the people that got her there. Wink. So the Knock LA Voter Guide, which in my opinion is one of the best progressive election resources in this city, also endorsed Ray for what it's worth. And their framing's really clear. It's not a protest vote. She's a serious candidate and a very experienced leader. And here's the part that I need to say about Nithya. And I have a lot of respect for Nithya's record. I've actually gone to bat for Nithya on the record, like talking to reporters on multiple occasions. And I mean, she came into the office asking the right questions about housing, about homelessness specifically, because a lot of my activism initially was about the unhoused. And if you go back and watch videos of me talking on the news, anytime I'm usually pulled in, it's about some type of issue with the unhoused. I got to housing from working on activism around the unhoused. And that earned her first term. I want to be clear about that. She asked the right questions about housing, about homelessness, about who the city's actually being built for. That got her in the seat, baby. That's what we fought to get her in the seat for. She was asking the right questions. But then here's what happened. Nithya's campaign has made a hard pivot toward YIMBY politics. And the naive faith that the market will fix what the market created. Like, we're all in this industry, like we are housing experts and housing professionals, explaining that we are trying to build something to combat forces that we otherwise cannot combat. There's nothing left to have faith in. The market's working exactly as intended. And more than that, she's been trying to move forward without the Measure ULA coalition that I really champion the work that they're doing. The people who organized to tax the real estate speculation to fund housing. Sorry. And the people who built real political power for renters in this city. The Measure ULA folks, the mansion tax folks. And she's trying to win the next election by just leaving behind the base that made her viable. And when you look at her actual platform for the mayoral race, ICE barely gets a mention. The Trump administration, which spent last summer kidnapping all of our neighbors right off the streets of Los Angeles, doesn't feature at all. Doesn't even get mentioned. So a candidate running for mayor of Los Angeles in 2026, that's the big year 26, y'all, doesn't have a real answer to ICE. And I don't think that means, I think that means they're not ready for this moment, personally. So in a ranked choice system, I would say vote Ray first, Nithya second. And that is exactly what the broken architecture of our voting system is designed to prevent you from doing. The fact that I have to choose between them at all, one or the other, means that the system is working exactly as it's designed. It's a lesser of two evils forever by architecture. Fighting for ranked choice voting is itself a socialist cause. But I'm not going to hide behind that framing. I am making a choice. And my choice is to vote for the only candidate that has not abandoned the coalition that made progressive LA politics possible. So I am recommending Ray Chen Huang for mayor of Los Angeles. And you can find out more about Ray at rayforla.com. Let me know what you think in the comments below. It's Ray all the way, baby. That's the only way I see it. I don't think there is another option. I think continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result is not the thing we should be doing. And that is voting for the establishment Democrat, whoever the establishment sends down from the higher level management is. I'm over it. That was Karen Bass. Now they're trying to do it with Nithya. And I'm out of tea. Bummer. So there is more. The ballot is long and you deserve the full picture. So I'm going to run these off. Feel free to clip this. This is lightning round, besties. For city attorney, I'm going to recommend Marissa Roy. The current city attorney is one of the most incompetent officials in the state. Under her watch, the city paid out $287 million in liability settlements in a single year, mostly from LAPD cases. And Marissa Roy is a deputy attorney general who wants to use the office to go after polluters, slumlords, wage theft, and the Trump administration. So she calls them fascists, and she is correct. So vote Marissa Roy. For city controller, there is no other candidate. Vote Kenneth Mejia. The city's in-house accountant is the person who created the first public homelessness spending tracker in city history. He's been fighting for transparency and accountability in every city department. His opponent's campaign is being funded by his own mother to the tune of $2.5 million. You cannot make this up. Please vote Kenneth Mejia. For county measure ER, that is a yes. It is a 0.5% sales tax for 5 years to offset Trump's healthcare cuts. The alternative is public hospitals closing. So vote yes on ER. City measure TC and TT, yes. Hotel taxes tied to the Olympics. If we're stuck hosting the Olympics and the jury's out whether or not that's a good idea, it's not. Go follow No Olympics on Instagram. We should be at least taxing the hotels that are about to price gouge the crap out of every tourist in the city. Vote yes on both measures TC and TT. Then I have to mention, if you are in State Senate District 26, you have to vote for Maybe Pudlo. That's Silver Lake. That person is a program manager for a homeless nonprofit. They refuse all corporate donations. And she was the first drag queen ever elected to public office in the United States after winning a Silver Lake Neighborhood Council seat in 2019. Maybe as a trans, non-binary, calls ICE fascist, supports CalCare, universal child care, a vacancy tax on empty units, and housing first homelessness policy. So if you're in SD26, you already know who you're voting for, but just in case, that's Maybe Pudlo. And you can find out more at Maybe for Senate. I think it's maybeforstatesenate.com. And then for judges, supervisors, school board races, everything else in your specific ballot, go to the Knock LA Voter Guide. That's who I'm going to point you to. They've done all of the work. They have the answers and they show their work. They give full explanations. That link and all the links for all the information that I have covered is in the Discord. It is comprehensive. It's progressive. It breaks down every single race by neighborhood. So do your homework. Go read the thing you're supposed to vote for and why. You should understand. If you don't, then come on. Voting is bare minimum. Okay. One more time for the clip. And I actually mean that. Clip this. Literally clip this. So we've got Ramsey Robinson for governor, Peace and Freedom Party. Lalo Vargas for insurance commissioner, Peace and Freedom Party. Frank Lara for state superintendent of public instruction, Peace and Freedom Party. Ray Chin Huang for LA mayor. Marissa Roy for city attorney. Kenneth Mejia for controller. Yes on county measure ER. And if you want to build beyond the ballot, go to pslweb.org. June 2nd. That's in 7 days. And the mainstream will not tell you these candidates exist. The polls will not measure their support. The coverage will not cover them. That is why we are here, you, me, and chat. We are the clip machine. So screenshot this, send it to your friends, share this stream. This is how this works. How are we feeling? We got the ballot out. We did it. Socialist voter guide. Socialist voter guide, baby. Who's voting for Ray with me? Let me know in chat if you're voting for Ray. I want to know. If you think different, I still want to know. What do you think? The more things we put into collective power, the stronger they are. And let me explain to you why. When you make a decision collectively, you now have, one, fine-tuned and perfected it amongst all those brains. Benefit, huge benefit. Two, all those people are committed to that because they were part of the decision. And you now intrinsically have their support. And that's the fastest way to build mass power. Include people in the decisions. And that works for housing. That works for business. That's what a workers' co-op is. Like, this is how you protect yourself against the corporations. You give the ownership to the workers, to the people, to the tenants. And you make councils and committees and figure it out. It's not always clean and it's not always easy. It's never easy, actually. Working through committees and with people is always hard, guaranteed. Don't believe anybody that ever tells you it's easy. However, the outcome, that the answer that you come up with is going to stand the test of time because 20 people came up with that answer. 20 people can question it, and it's unlikely that they're going to find improvements because it's already been workshopped. I now have drywall punching energy. I feel it might be misplaced. Yeah, maybe. Have you tried canvassing? Because you can take that drywall energy and the energy that you would use into drywall punching now becomes door knocking. And now we're knocking. And now we're pamphleting and we're telling people about things that are going to change things. And that makes the world a better place. Things are awful. You should be angry. I'm not telling you shouldn't be angry. You absolutely should be angry. That's a very reasonable response to the things that are happening in the world. But what has been created is systems to divide us and atomize us to where we feel like we're powerless and that there's nothing we can do. When honestly, if everybody just turns off all of their TVs and computers and video game systems and just marched down to your Capitol and started screaming at politicians, things would change pretty quickly. I'm here to tell you. I just went over like there are actual people with names that have caused government like structural change. Ray Huang, I was just going through, is like the deputy director for Housing Now California. Like these are people with jobs making a difference. These are just people. They're regular people. You can be a regular people and just go do great, like really important things. Like you don't have to like let other people do them. You could just be a teacher that just decides, fuck this shit. I need to do something to fix it. And then you could go run for school superintendent like Frank Lara. I mean, these are just regular people that have jobs that literally just said something along the lines of, fuck this shit. I'm going to go fix this. Like this needs to change. And they're trying to go do that. So I don't know. I hope maybe you can take a little information of what I'm putting things on the table here. Cards on the table. Full transparency. You don't have to pick them up. You don't even have to look at them. But the cards are on the table. And Democrats are going to lose in the long run. Like they get wins, but the fact is the same people that fund the Republicans are the same people that fund the Democrats. So for them, it's a business decision. They want to give money because they need the favor of both parties, but they're going to give more money to the Republicans, and the Republicans are going to win more often because that's better for business, y'all. And so, like, they're basically the same party at this point. Like, I'm not saying that, like that's not even hyperbole at this point. Like, I'm not even speaking in any kind of like jokey manner. Like, they function as the same party, like functionally. And if you don't understand what I mean by that, look up a concept called the ratchet effect. And the ratchet effect is a very real phenomenon, and it's mostly, understood to be an American political concept that we have. We skew right and we continue to shift right because there's no mechanism to push left. And so the right party keeps pulling us right and the left party stubbornly clicks onward. But if there's nothing taking us left, we just keep going right. And then that's how we get somebody like Trump in office, where it's like we have an opposition party, if you can call them that. They're a controlled opposition party. But the opposition party can't do anything versus the businesses. So, like, in France, the unions just literally shut shit down. Like, if you piss off the unions, they'll organize caravans of trucks to drop manure in the front of the government building's lawn to tell them they're full of shit. They control things. Like, the Democrats don't control. The unions are somewhat apolitical, and that's weird because the unions should be in cahoots with the left, because if the left benefits the unions, if the left gets pissed off, the unions can shut shit down. That's how that's supposed to work. That's how that works in most countries and most politics forever, since the beginning of the 8-hour workday, overtime, child labor laws. This is all the result of mass worker politics. And now we have Democrats who, they're also corporate. They serve the corporate interests. They have no teeth. They can't call a strike. They can't call a boycott. the most they have you do is like a day of prayer or something. They'll take a knee or something stupidly symbolic that they don't actually believe in themselves even. But I digress. The politics that we lack in America are left of the Democrat. Anything left of the Democrats that doesn't exist is what we desperately need. And that's what you're getting from this socialist voter guide. That's what I'm recommending to y'all. I really think America is unfortunately coming apart at the seams because it is an unsustainable system. We can't keep growing and expanding. There can't be never ending expansion of profit. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make logical sense. Like from an asset management perspective, like the money has to come from somewhere. You have an asset, it's worth a certain amount. There's a certain amount of cash flow you can expect. You can't expect that cash flow to ever increasingly expand. That doesn't make sense. There's going to be an allocated amount of interest or it has a certain like limit on all margins. So to treat the American economy as though it can continue to expand forever and ever, it's a fantasy, and furthermore, it's a bad one. It's like you can't honestly believe that we just happen to have a country that is the richest country to ever exist that now just kind of makes up its money as it goes, and it's gonna our economy's gonna keep growing. That sounds like a scam. Anybody that's ever putting up with a telemarketer can tell you that sounds like a scam. All right. I'm done with the news for people that have a job part of the stream. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna do some personal care. So get up, stretch your legs, get a cup of water, feed yourself, um, go outside and touch grass. Don't punch drywall. This is not, that is destructive. Don't do it. Techno Magnifico, please. Take care of yourself. But thank you so much for spending Memorial Day here to help make the algorithm uncomfortable. And remember, the freed Black Americans that held the first American Memorial Day, they weren't waiting for permission to do the work. Neither are we. Regular people with jobs can change things. So don't forget, get your ballots in. Make sure they're in the mail if you haven't yet. The primary is June 2nd. Definitely check out Knock LA for a full voter guide. This is just the important stuff. And I'll be right back. We're going to take a quick break, maybe 5 minutes. Don't go nowhere because when we get back, I'm going to run my mouth even more. So don't go nowhere. See you in a bit. All right, we're back. We're back. We're back, and we're done. Done with the news. We got news out of the way. That was a beefy news day. That was. I think that's the longest news for people with a job. I think we've done. It's up there. It's easy when your country's literally turning into a fascist dictatorship. There's a lot of shit to cover. You know, it's a lot to talk about. So, how's everybody's weekend? Crazy Dad, Ice God, Techno Magnifico. How's everybody doing? What's going on out there in the in the other parts of the world that aren't, on the West Coast? Or, I don't know, maybe some of you are on the West Coast. Hmm. Uh, do we want to chat? Want to hang out? Want to do fun things? What should we do? Should we play some games? I'm literally just vibing. I'm planning to be here for like the next hour or so, at least. Unless we really start cracking off. I'm not looking forward to a project that's coming out. I didn't do very good in a project that's got massive audience. It should be coming out later this week, the end of this week, and I'm stressed out. I did a very mediocre showing. We'll say that. I should have just I should have just not gone up. That's all I'll say. Got a lot of feelings about that day and that project. I prepared heavily for something and did not get an opportunity for what I prepared for, and still tried to participate and did a just just a mid showing. We will say we'll see how it turns out, but I'm not expecting. Dun, 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 dun. Hello. We can. Pokemon booster packs are now on. If anybody wants to trigger any of those. Bam! One happened instantly. Right on. Do you have a preference? Now that we're past news, we can turn it on. We can do whatever we want now. Ooh, I need to grab a water. Surprise you? Let me grab a water and I'll come back and just grab one. Let me see. What, what have I not opened? Well, let's see. What do we got here? Um, no surging sparks in a while. Let's do a surging sparks. And thank you so much for the hydrate. I appreciate you. Okay. Got. Wow, that was the fattest news for people with a job I have ever done, and I didn't realize it until I was done with the voter guide, and I looked up and I was like, an hour? Did I really hit an hour? It was an hour of news? Let's go. That was just honestly, I kind of happy I kind of proud of myself. Didn't know that I had it in me to just rip an hour without noticing like that. And that's another reason why I've been doing it is I want to get more used to talking about these political topics and stay informed and stay like that's why I'm writing these little blurbs and like I want to have clips that I can clip. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Let me get this going. I need to set this cup to the side. I should have taken that to the kitchen when I went. All right. I've got too many things on this space. Like when I just like game off stream and I'm just like playing Marvel Rivals, I'll just like set stuff here, and I need to not do that because then when I go to do card openings, I have to like move a bunch of stuff. Okay, now that it's clear, here's your surging sparks that we're gonna open, which is now that is the wrong window. Bloop bloop. That's the surging sparks pack that we're gonna open. So just really quickly pop this open for you. How you doing, by the way? How's it been? How was your weekend? How's the weather where you're at? Pretty warm here. Been like pretty temperate, but just enough to where I have to turn the air on just a little bit because the PC will warm the room just ever so slightly. So every once in a while I have to knock the heat down. But here is the code card. I'm good. My weekend was all right. Lots of cleaning involved. How am I? How was I? How was my weekend? Actually, funny you should mention that. I had a lot of cleaning as well. Um, I moved some TV. Actually, the TV in my bedroom went out. So I actually had an old TV when I moved that did not fit the space, and I had to buy a completely different stand than the one that it came with to be able to set it in the space on the table that I needed it to go on. And so this weekend, the TV died, and I had to do all of that. And I had the stand and everything ready to go. Thank goodness. Um, but then I did clean the bathroom. By the way, our energy is going to be fire for this one. Yeah, cleaning weekend, organizing weekend, got caught up on chores mostly. That was me. Sounds like it was a very like it was a weekend of resetting. Is This is what it sounds like. This was the besties reset weekend. Relor kicks off the booster pack, followed by Grap Locked behind him, and then a Dino. Dino is cute. I always like them. They're so moody. The little moody boy. And then we've got a Drasna after that. I don't think I have a Drasna. That just might be my first Drasna. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then flip a coin. Oh, if heads draw 8, if tails draw 3. Well, I'll be damned. That's a pretty solid card. I might have to go in a deck. Deduction kit. Look at the top 3 of your deck and then put them back in any order, or shuffle them and put them on the bottom of your deck. And then that's an Altaria. That's pretty cool. Altaria is pretty cool. Altaria. And now we're going to get to the uncommons. So this should be a reverse holo, I think. No, not yet, but a Braviary. Got a Braviary. Followed by a reverse holo Magneton. That's kind of cool. Reverse holo Magneton. And then the next card is, what's this last one? Togekiss. Oh, there's a Primate. There's a Primate hiding in there. I thought there was one left. I lost count. That was a Togekiss. Is a holographic. That's cool. I think I have a Togekiss. But that's cool. Still a pretty card. He's pretty. He's a pretty card. That her aside. Let's check out this Primate. I don't think I have this picture or this specific Primate. I did always kind of have a soft spot for Primate. Just he's in the original Pokemon cartoon, and there's a rather entertaining episode where Primate just keeps beating up Ash Ketchum. So soft spot for Primate for real. Yeah, reverse holo on that. Cool. That was nice. Do we want to pull any more? Do we want to hold on to your points? There is also the cosplay photo shoot challenge that is still going. Oh, we're opening another one. Which one do you want to open? Do you know? Or do you want me to pick again? Your choice. Redeemer's choice. I pick again? Okay, give me 1 second. Yeah, they're fun, right? And I've got a whole shelf. Have a journey together. I don't know. I think a lot the deck that I've been building that I kind of stalled out on because when I moved, I really stalled out on collecting and playing. It's funny because I moved to near to a lot of card shops. So this is Journey Together. Excuse me. The water made me cough. That's backwards. Okay. Journey Together is cool because a lot of these are companion Pokemon. It'll be like Pokemon that belong to trainers, like named. It'll be like In's Pokemon or whatever. Well, that's our card code. Card code for an app that you can purchase points to buy packs, but you get free ones when you buy Pokemon booster packs. You can redeem the codes from Pokemon booster packs to get booster packs in the app, the phone version of the game, which it's cheaper to build decks in, and you can test decks and find out ones you like, and then you can test things before you have to buy them in the real world. This one starts. Oh wait. The energy is a fighting energy. We've got a fighting energy on this one. Fighting. And a cutie fly starts this off. Cutie fly. So after cutie fly, we've got Petlil. Got a Petlil. After a Petlil, we've got Minccino. After the Minccino, we've got Toadscool. Okay, so Toadscool's kind of lit. And I always like the more comic, like this. Some of them look like if they did Pokemon as a comic book, and you see the like bold black ink outline. And this in my opinion is from like that series, the Pokemon comic book series. Um, this is a Copperajah. Copperajah. You see that one? And after the Copperajah, we've got redeemable ticket. All right. Count your prize cards, shuffle them, put them on the bottom, then take that mini cards from the top and put them face down as your prize cards. So little rotation of your prize cards for whatever. This is, in my opinion, this is kind of a waste unless you can see what your prize cards are or something. It'd be a pretty advanced deck for any reason you'd be cycling your prize cards. Spiky energy, that's a special energy, that's kind of cool. You put this card on a Pokemon, then this card makes another energy. Lily's Pearl. We've got a reverse hollow Lily's Pearl. That's kind of pretty. I like that. So Lily's Pearl is if the Lily's Pokemon this card is attached to is knocked out by damage from an attack from my opponent's Pokemon, then that opponent takes one fewer prize card. And if you don't know what the prize cards are, that's how you track who wins. First person to get 6 prize cards to draw their 6 prize cards wins. That's how you track. And sometimes Pokemon are an EX, and you'll get 2 prize cards for knocking them out. This would reduce the amount of prize cards you get. So you'd attach this to an EX, almost definitely. The next one is it's Lily's Comfy. Lily's Comfy, reverse hollow. So Lily. This is like a Lily's booster. We're getting Lily's Pearl, Lily's Comfy. Is the next one the evolved version of the Comfy? What do we got behind here? Oh, a Lycanroc. That's cool. Completely unrelated and very left field. But we got a Lycanroc. So that's cool. Reverse hollow. Very doggo. All the puppy girls are going crazy in chat. Shout out to the puppy girls. So Lycanroc holographic. That's cool. That's cool then. All right. Do we want to do any more? Do you want to trigger more? Do you want to do more? Do you want to do more? You don't have to. Da, 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 da. Everybody has their day where they just sit and just open them, and today's your day. It's fun because like you. Look, I'm not gonna say it's not on purpose because it kind of is. I want you to have fun. My goal every time I turn on this camera and this computer is just to entertain people. I want to help take some minutes of your life and make them more enjoyable. That's my goal. And on the side, I'm trying to use that attention that I am able to get from people to try to help make the world a better place. And I'm really kind of just, I'm like new at it. I'm just starting out, but we're trying. Do you know which one you want? Do you have one do you know which one you want, or do you want me to pick again? I don't know if did you want to see the list? Did you want to choose? I don't want to rob you of that ability to choose. We can choose, or I can, let you choose. However you want to do it. Oh yeah, you got it. List for you. We've got Black Bolt, Mega Evolutions, Journey Together, which we've seen. Phantasmal Flames. I don't have any of the newer ones because I don't live as close to a Pokemon machine as I used to. And so the most recent one that I think I have is the Mega Evolutions. Um, oh no, Phantasmal Flames would be, I think, the most current one. And then there's Surging Sparks. We just saw a pack from that one. Stellar Crown it is. I'll be right back. I'm gonna walk over here. Stellar Crown is here. That's this one right here. I've got you. Get this going for you. This is the Stellar Crown. I'm like, where's the camera? Oh, right there. And we're gonna open that pack for you. Right. Got a Lapras on the front of the package. But the sign of luck. Historically, for me, Lapras have always been quite lucky. Do you, buddy? Oh, it'd be so sick to get a nice Lapras card. We've got a code card up top. I've got so many of these I haven't redeemed. What's up, Atik? How are you? Ni hao. Good to see you. Good to see you. We're gonna say this one's up. Fire energy. Nice, nice, nice. All right, fire pack. Do us good. Do us justice, fire pack. We're starting out. Meow. That's cute. That's a good start. I'm not upset about that. Meow. And then a Pancham. Followed by a Pancham. Pancham. Ooh, I think that's the first time I've ever dropped a card. First time I've ever dropped a card during pack openings, I think. Pretty sure. You'd have to check the VODs. That sounds right. Um, Charge a bug. Just a charge a bug. Just a charge a bug. All right. We see charge a bug. Yamask. Yamask. Okay. Okay. Got a lot of these already. Crispin. We've got about 20 of these Crispins. These Crispins. Come on. A Talonflame. There we go. I don't think I have a Talonflame. So that will be, yeah, now I have like 21, right? Talonflame's nice. Oh, wait, hold on. Come on. Wait, it's not doing the thing. All right, and then the next one is Area Zero Underdepths. This is cool. This is a good one to get. Um, if you have Terra Pokemon, this card can be brutal. It allows you to have 8 Pokemon in your hand instead of 6, like on the field, like active. Um, Brutal, really brutal card. Um, Reverse Hollow Eevee! Yay! We're always happy to see an Eevee on this channel. Oh, we love an Eevee. Baby! How are you, honey? Good to see you, babies. Always happy to see an Eevee. Cutie, cutie, cutie. Okay. Followed by... Oh! Yes! I was hoping for a Lapras chat. I literally said I hope there's a cool Lapras in here. Let's go. Oh, that's always good. That's always good. Reverse hollow Lapras too. Followed by a hollow Alcremie. Hollow Alcremie, we see you. Beauty. So that's nice. That's nice. I don't know, Alcremie. Nice. Yeah, Eevee. We are always happy to see an Eevee around here. So those are the hollows from that pack. Do we want to do any more? Anybody else want to redeem points? I'm happy to open more packs. Have packs, we'll open them. Got like 20 minutes left in chat. Oh, we're gonna do another pack. Do you know which one you want? Or should I bring up the list? What do you want? Redeemer's choice. You know the drill. Surprise you again. I got you. Let's see. And the funny thing is we haven't had any big hits today. Usually, I've had days where we pull back to back EXs. Let's see. I'm gonna do another Surging Sparks. You know, I have a Surging Sparks Elite Trainer box and 2 Surging Sparks booster boxes, booster bundles, and a bunch of loose Surging Sparks. So we're gonna do a Surging Sparks, Scarlet and Violet Surging Sparks. Here's your pack. Code card up top. The energy for this pack is electric. We haven't seen an electric energy today, so this will be an electric energy booster. Oh, there we go. There's that comic style again. Cast form. Now, this is the sunny form of cast form because cast form has multiple forms. This is the sunny cast form. Followed by Mesprit. Mesprit. Isn't Mesprit a legendary? pretty sure they are. Yeah, fingers crossed, Franticus. Fingers crossed, Scatterbug. Got a Scatterbug. That's a cutie. We're happy for a Scatterbug. Scatterbug's a cutie. That's a cutie. Come on. Lock in Zoom. We want to share off the Scatterbug. There we go. That's good. That's good. Little cutie. Little pleading eyes. I wish it would focus. For some reason, we're not a focus. It's having trouble because the picture. Oh, there we go. Bang! Nice and crisp. He's so cute. Next one. Bouffalon. That's cute. Bouffalon's always cute. Followed by like going crazy though. That's its face bottom right. Going crazy. Like turning. Followed by Executor. That's cool. It's a plain Executor. I think I have a reverse holo Executor. This is still sick. Executor is a powerful Pokemon. Followed by a future Pokemon. Miraidon. Future. Code Protect. That's a fancy Pokemon. Thunderclaws. During your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage done to each of your future Pokemon for attacks from Pokemon EX. So this is an EX Buster. If this Pokemon is no longer your active Pokemon, then this effect ends. Next one is a Serrano. Got a Serrano supporter card. Serrano. What's up, Serrano? And then we've got a Smooch and Reverse Holo. Smooch and Reverse Holo. Shiny, shiny. Followed by Jasmine's Gaze. Jasmine's Gaze. Jasmine's Girls got Jasmine's Gaze and Jasmine's Days. You got to be with Jasmine's Girls, Gaze, and Days, but this one just happens to be Jasmine's Gaze. During your opponent's next turn, all of your Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. Okay, so it's a damage reducer. All right, and then the next card is Chin Pao. It is a Chin Pao, holographic Chin Pao. It's so interesting. We're not getting any EXs today. Today's kind of dry, chat. We're kind of dry. All the pack pulls. I've been misses. Interesting. I mean, we've gotten some pretty cards. I mean, we're not upset. What we are is curious. I'm more surprised how many times we've missed. What are the odds? I truly know nothing about Pokemon, so I'm just having a nice time. That's the whole point. As long as you're having fun, we're doing it right. Doesn't matter how much the cards are worth. There we go. Let's pull another pack. Whatever we hit, as long as we enjoy the journey. And then that makes when you hit that much sweeter. Do you know which kind you want? Do you want to check out the list again? You can check out the list if you'd like. Or I can just grab one. But the funny thing is there's a higher kind of card called an EX. Well, there's a couple tiers of cards. Every booster pack, as you've seen, has a holographic. You get a couple of reverse holos and a holographic. Sometimes it's the whole card is art, and that's called an IR, illustration rare. Um, and then there's EX. An EX card has special abilities. Um, do you know which kind? Do you know which one of these? This side. I'm on this side. I can choose for you if you'd like for me to, but no rush. Um, I'm just like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, what's up, Merlin Hurlin? How are you? Yeah. So when I say that it's a miss, it's not like we didn't get anything. Yeah, let's do a black bolt. It just means that we didn't get one of those special cards. I'm doing really, really well. We just had a really fun news for people with a job, which I do every Monday. And now we're just kind of hanging out, chilling. Jules keeps triggering booster packs. This is the first time they've played with the booster pack redemption, and we're leaning in today and pulling some packs. How are you? This will kind of finish up. I've got one more Black Bolt from that booster bundle, but this is like the second to last, and then I'll have to open a new booster bundle for Black Bolt, of which I have four. Mhm. And each booster bundle comes with 8 booster packs. I'm just checking out streams that have politics in their tag. I saw Half Title has Socialist Voter Guide for June 2nd. So I got curious. What election's occurring on June 2nd? Well, I'm glad you asked. Um, we are having our California primaries here. Um, that's on June 2nd, and that includes governor as well as many other down ballot, and even the LA mayor is on this election cycle. So I just made a slew of recommendations, mostly in line with the PSL, which is the local Party for Socialism and Liberation. Let's get this card code out of the way. But of course, I'm going to clip all of the recommendations that I've made, and you can check out all of the links and all of the recommendations that I've made, all in the Discord. If you want to check out, if you want to join the Discord. I anytime I mention something on the news thing that I do on Mondays, it's a stream. It's a show. Do you call it a show? It's a stream. Um, everything's always the sources are posted in our news clips channel on the Discord. Well, yeah, I've been semi-following the gubernatorial primaries, by which I mean Twitter accounts speaking about it from time to time. Yeah, so we're keeping up with all that. I forgot how cool this one's energies were. But that is was that the steel energy from Black Bolt? It goes so hard. That pattern. That pattern is so cool. Okay. I'm gonna flip this over and we're gonna start with a Blast. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. There's like a billionaire that's running as a progressive. Like it's so crazy over here right now. Like it's so crazy. It is so crazy. Golett is our next Pokemon. Cute little Golett. Like a tiny golem. It's a baby golem. Oh, come on, autofocus. Hold on. You know what I haven't done today that I usually get a lot of better focus out of after wiping the lens? Let's try that. Seems like it's helping. Yeah, we made some recommendations today. For governor, it's Ramsey Robinson in this house. Poniard? Poniard? followed by Dynamo. I wonder how many billionaire Democrats are actively trying to cultivate that FDR class trader image. Because to me, it seems like Tom Steyer is trying to do that. Exactly. I mean, you could just buy an election. Like, that's how our political system works. Like, it is whoever has the most money. Um, Quite literally, the opponent for Kenneth Mejia has spent a crap ton of money. I think it's like 2 million. I just reported, um, and it's being bankrolled by his mom. So like we're in that era of politics where it's just like the average person, unfortunately, is not really able to compete with corporations and just like people that come from enormous wealth. Cinchino, followed by a Crussell. Russell. Yeah, it's we're in the late stage capitalism part of the game. We're 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 in the part where it's coming apart at the steams. Among Us coming apart at the steams. Among Us followed by Prism Energy, Reverse Hollow Prism Energy. That's kind of cool. That's actually kind of cool. I like that one. Can we get a focus? Let me move these out of shot, and that usually helps here. Followed by. Ooh, that's a hit. That's a hit. That's a hit. That's a hit. Palpitoad and then Landorus. And I'm that's a Landorus holographic. That's a pretty good Landorus. And then we have a IR Palpitoad. Special illustration. SIR. Special illustration rare. So that is a full art card. Palpitoad. Congratulations, Jules, on triggering the first hit that you've triggered. I appreciate it. My collection appreciates you for triggering this hit and for choosing this pack. Um, that's a cute one. Let's see if we can get. Can't get it to stay for some reason. The secret is just to use the glare to make it focus. Oh, look at those colors in it. Ooh, that's a good shot. Oh, oh yeah, 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 yeah. We all like this, right? That's basically that's card porn. Woo! Thanks for that hit. Let's see. It's already coming apart here in Kuwait. 2 years ago, the emir, essentially the king, dissolved the parliament. Oh my god! And some articles of our constitution, and he's been denaturalizing tens of thousands of people, including a journalist who he jailed and then denaturalized. Oh shit! I'm sorry. That's actually what they're trying to do here now. um like Trump, which I'm sure you're familiar with Trump, he's trying to like get rid of birthright citizenship to where like if you're born here you're not necessarily an American. And that's been that way since our country was founded, and he's trying to change that. So, yeah, unfortunately, it is the time of monsters. So, that is why we talk about the news. We cover the news at the front half of the today's stream every Monday. News for people with a job. We cover socialist politics. And then we just kind of unwind and unpack. And we can still chat. We're still here. I want to talk about these things. But the rest of the week we unwind further and further. I play Red Dead Redemption. I'm finishing the end of that. It's my first playthrough, and just lots of other things to really just kind of unwind. But we keep our eye on the ball, because it's important to stay informed, and we're trying to vote here in America and get our shit together, but it's just our political system is so far gone with what we allow money to control. Like I was actually thinking about this today. So we have, in America, this political system to where we have to advertise, and that means that our American public, like our ability to buy the American public's interests and actually advertise to the American public, doing political campaigns, commercials, billboards, ads. You have to do that to get your name out in front of people. And so basically, what that means is politics to us is as important as which toothpaste people use. And whether or not somebody that controls our like trade and wars, like the decision of that is as important as influencing which brand of toilet paper you wipe your ass with. And so like that is the world that we have created. Like whether that was the intention or not, that is the outcome of that's what we're doing. um I get it. I won by reading books, political, economic, and otherwise, or playing Peak. Yeah, exactly. Peak. We love Peak. Peak is sick. Um, but we are coming to the end of Monday's stream. Monday's stream is usually 2 hours. So we're going to go ahead and raid out, most likely to a Women's Guild member or Pride Guild member. Mm. But I do want to thank everybody for being here. It's really important, like I said, that we stay informed so that we know what's going on so that we can use our power, use our voice, and organize socially because that's the only thing that actually has power and teeth to push back against the ownership class. If you don't have organized unions, if you can't do strikes or boycotts, there's no point in listening to your politics. Thanks for being here. I hope to see you tomorrow for a much more relaxed, unwinding kind of stream. Tomorrow's 4 p.m. Pacific time. We're going to be playing Red Dead Redemption. It's Tuesday. No, we're not going to be playing Red Dead Redemption. We're going to be playing an indie game that I was given a code for. It was given to me for free. And we're going to be doing a review. Tuesdays are new review games. I forgot. Forgive me. All right, so tomorrow I think we're playing All Hail the Orc. I'm going to give y'all a chance to veto that because we believe in true democracy here. But I will see y'all tomorrow. Again, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Feel free to check the Discord. Oh, yeah. Discord. Links. So I hope to see y'all here. And remember, don't let the bastards grind you down. I'll see y'all on the next one. Goodbye.